Welcome to More Than Dentistry, where your hosts Evert and Waldo discuss life, dentistry, and everything in between with dentists around the world.
Hello and welcome to the More Than Dentistry podcast.
A while back, Brian asked me to come and help him with a guided implant case. We have known each other for a while, and it was a perfect opportunity to pick his brain. He graciously hosted me in his beautiful home in Groot Brak River, where I met his wife and son. When it comes to finding people that share the same sort of values in business and personal relationships, they are far and few in between. Brian is definitely one of those people for me. He has a relentless drive for excellence. Every day he strives to look well after his patients, his working family. In his own words, he does not talk about staff, as they are not his stuff. And he is a present husband and father when he gets home. He's finishing up his MBA at University of Stellenbosch this year, which is no small feat. Brian has a way about him that he will not only be a valuable asset to those near to him, but also the broader community of dentistry. I hope you enjoy this as much as I did. Please make sure to subscribe on whatever platform you use. And thanks for listening to More Than Dentistry. So, okay, here we go. Well, welcome to another episode of More Than Dentistry. I'm Waldo Engelbrecht, and today my guest is Brian Burchell. He's from George.
Yes, hello.
Great. Well, Brian, I think we know each other a couple of years on and off.
Yeah.
I think we actually met at one a course in Cape Town.
Yeah, it was at the Implant Academy. We actually met, but we've known about each other prior to that for a couple of years.
Yeah. Well, how did you get into dentistry?
It's actually quite a funny story. Is I think like most dentists, I've always wanted to become a doctor, a real doctor. And actually what happened is I applied to University and I forgot my application for Stellenbosch.
Okay.
I forgot to apply there, and secretly I had a friend that had a desire to become a dentist, and between him and I, we've always been in a good competition. You know, it's always been great competition between us, pushing each other. And I started speaking about perhaps I should be doing dentistry, maybe another route to come into medicine. I think most dentists actually think about that for a while. Yeah. And so because he applied, I applied. Yeah, the competition was rife. And he was actually not accepted, and I was accepted. And I was not accepted at COFSIS. And so I took the opportunity, and that's the first time ever I travelled to Cape Town. And I think it was still, the campus was still part of Tygerberg. Yes.
Did you have any idea what dentistry entails?
Not at all. I was actually not the artist. I actually couldn't even draw a stick man. Yeah. And I remember, I think it was in our first year, we had to design teeth out of the green wax.
Yeah.
And that's actually where I found a love for art. I'm still not that artistic, but I actually enjoyed creating something out of nothing, out of block. And as time went on, I started developing my skill and honed my skill into something that I thought I might never like. And we actually have a history of my mom being super arty. She's actually a bit more on the hippie side, you know. She's very artistic, and I think it came from there.
Yeah. Tell me, what was your journey from university into private practice?
I've always had a very strong work ethic. So I met Dr. Charles van Niekerk while I was still in my community service year, and I knew that he wanted to become a maxillofacial surgeon. He had one of the most beautiful practices at that time in Bloemfontein, and I started spending more time with him because I believe what you want to become you have to pursue. You know, so I actually started fervently pursuing him, spending time with him, going to his house, listening to what he was saying, what he was studying, becoming more interested. And at a certain time he said, listen Brian, I've been accepted for maxillofacial surgery and I would like someone to take over my practice. And so the opportunity came for me to actually step into a practice that he has built from nothing and just take over and build from there. It was a medical aid based practice. but it was a good starting point. I actually think to continue that it also showed me where I didn't want to be. You know, I don't believe I'm a good practitioner in seeing volumes, and I'm talking about what we all know as in a medical aid practice, volumes, really a vast volume of people. I was not good at that, so I'm quite a strong critic towards myself, and I was quite unhappy with what I found my work out to be. You know, I wasn't satisfied, so I knew I had to do something else. What I had to do, I wasn't sure of, and that's where the next journey actually just started from.
And then that journey took you, how did you somehow you met Gijs de Necker?
Yeah, so once again we're back to pursuing.
Yeah.
I started hearing about Gijs and about the joint development and functional dentistry and all of that. And I emailed him. I said to him, while I was still in my own practice, I emailed him and I said to him, listen, this is who I am. I've got this large desire to actually come work for you. And they didn't even respond. They never replied. Never got a no, never got not now, nothing. It's quite unhappy about that. And then I knew about your workshops that your study group did. And that was in Mazeba Bay. And one of my other mates, Carlo Grebe, he actually told me that Gijs was coming to speak at that event. It was still Gijs, it was Evert Burger's wife spoke, I think Dr. Jan spoke. Yes, you know, it was really a great bunch of dentists that were experienced in their different departments.
Yeah.
But the one attraction was Gijs de Necker. And I thought, this is another opportunity to really pursue. And that's where I met him. So he gave this great lecture, it all made sense, and I actually walked up to him and said, listen, Dr. Gijs, this is who I am. I sent you email and I would like to work for you. And he just said, listen, I don't have a job for you, sorry. And he walked on. That was it. Until later the evening, I sat at the bar and he came to sit next to me. He said, tell me about yourself and why should I be interested in joining with you. So we had a conversation, and after that weekend, he said he'll think about it and he'll let me know. And I think it was in September 2012, I got a call from him. He said, listen, if you want to work for me, you've got 2 weeks to pack up your practice and leave all your things and move to George. You have to go start the practice there. And that's what I did. I closed everything. I just let it go. And I actually moved down. And we took it from there.
That's such an amazing story. A very bold story. What? There needs to be some sort of an internal drive for someone to actually have these character traits to actually pursue something so far out of an ordinary person's comfort zone. To say, listen, this is what I want. What is it in you? What drove your work ethic? What drove your desire to be better?
I think I've always had this competitive streak firstly, as I've mentioned before. But I also remember a situation. We came from a background where my parents were quite poor, and we didn't have much, but they really did their best for me. It was just not the same as other kids were getting, and that's life. That's what it was in the 90s. So I remember this one situation where this one kid in school actually came to school the one day with the best pair of sneakers. I'm not sure, I think it was Island style sneakers actually. And I had this strong desire to have the same sneakers, and my parents just said, we can't afford that. And that day was actually a defining moment for me to realize that if that's what I want, I don't want to be facing and asking people for something. I want to be able to provide that type of gift or seed. I always speak about seed because I believe to sow in people's lives. Yeah. That's really one of my characteristics, is sowing into people's lives. So I believe that I want to be the guy that gives and not be the guy that asks. Not that there's wrong with asking, but I want to be a provider. And from that day, I realized that I have to have the strong work ethic, to get what I want. And pertaining to that is, I also, as a young man, when I started working, my focus was money. Because of this history of mine, I think I was so driven to make money. And fortunately, due to a fantastic mentor-internship relationships, and that's something I also strongly believe is the mentor internship, is Gijs taught me about forgetting about money. Start loving what you do. Money will always come.
Yeah.
You know, and one thing that I learned from that is that there's no impact with there's no impact with intimacy.
Yeah.
That's one of the most beautiful things. That's why I write it down. Is if there's no intimacy, if there's no relationship, there will be no real impact. And that's culture forming, and that's how we start forming cultures, having a real impact in relationship with people.
Yeah. And this is spilled over into how you practice dentistry.
Yes.
And how you setting up your practice. I mean, the most beautiful thing about this mentor thing, because we spoke earlier, is that Gijs is one of your mentors.
Yeah.
And we were doing this guided surgery case today, and he literally just flew down and came and sit here and had a look and commented, and it's a beautiful relationship that you can actually see from outside.
Yes, I'm really privileged to have him, and I would encourage any person, every person, whether you're old or young, to either be a mentor or to be an intern.
Yeah.
You know, I think it's
Or
so
both.
important. Or both. I think you really go through your life. I'm in a stage now where I'm an intern to Gijs, but I'm also a mentor to a couple of other guys. And it's such a privilege, but it's also such a massive responsibility. So that's why I continue being a strong critic to my own work, and also a strong critic to what I say, why I say it, and to whom I say it, because I believe I have to be responsible. I also believe not going where the path may lead, but to go instead where there is no path and leave a trail for other people. And that, that once again, I write these things down. That was written by Ralph Waldo Emerson. I'm just going to say it again. Do not go where the path may lead. Go instead where there is no path and leave a trail. And that's that mentor thing that I speak about. We have to leave a trail for generations to come. Our legacy is not found in our buildings or in our bank accounts, but it's in the people that we reach and the people that we empower.
Yeah. Can you also just share that thing that you that we spoke about purpose and what was that other thing?
Purpose and assignment.
Yes.
Yeah. So many people they run around in life trying to find a purpose, but there's a distinct difference between assignment and purpose. You have to ask yourself, what is my purpose? My purpose in life is to reach people. I believe in relationships. I believe in being out of the comfort zone and creating relationships out of nothing. I believe in pursuing people. I believe in pursuing upwards, but also downwards, reaching out. I believe in cultural diversity. So it all comes down to a simple fact that it's people, inclusivity. Our practice, we really believe in working on an exclusive dentistry, if I'm allowed to say that. I mean, I know we're treading on dangerous grounds, but I believe in doing something exclusive. What that does not mean is that we are exclusive. If you want to be with us, we are fully inclusive, but we pride ourselves in doing really exceptional work and being responsible for that work. And now we're coming back to purpose, is that my purpose is to edify people. Edification means to bring up people, to help people, and to give to people. The assignment for that is to generate either funds or generate a facility, whatever you want to call it, is to fulfill my purpose. So there's a distinct difference between that. Life is about people. It's about, we are human beings, we're not human doings. We should be together. It's not about me, it's about us. So one of my favorite musicians is actually Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
Everybody laughs at me, but I like it. I like her. I think what she writes is fantastic. And in one of her songs, she actually says that there's no I in team, but there surely is a me. So if you break that down, it's quintessential to understand that in a team, there's always individuals. So don't forget that a team is not about a single person. It is just that. It is about a single person in a conglomerate, about everybody standing together and holding hands.
Awesome. You're also quite a busy man, not just in a sense of working in your practice, but you actually tackled an MBA. And
yeah, I'm still busy with that.
And yeah. Please tell us a little bit about that and how did it change the way you see dentistry, business, healthcare in South Africa?
Yes, that's a very broad topic. So let's start with the MBA. I think we all have it quite well under the shoulder to be able to have the head of a clinician. What's a distinct subject around many dentists that I speak about is what is affordability? How can I make this work? How do I build my business? You know, in university we had 2 weeks of business management, practice management actually. 2 weeks.
You probably didn't even attend it.
Yeah, I'm sure I did. But we don't have the skills. Most of us don't have the skills to successfully build and run a business. It's easy to run a practice, but a practice is a business. So I believe that I need to be able to wear the hat of a CEO. Whether it's just for myself or for the people around me, I needed to understand what skills are out there so that I can enhance what I have to get to that legacy we spoke about. I would say to anybody that the MBA is definitely worth it, but it will screw with you. So it's one of the hardest things that I've ever undertaken. It really is difficult, but it does change you and it impacts the way that you lead, your leadership style. So.
And then how's it changed your perception of what South Africa is going through business-wise, dentistry-wise?
I think South Africa is full of opportunities. I would not run from this place. I would run towards this place. If I was in any other country, I'd run towards this place. The field is so open and so ready to be worked that yes, there are many big topics. We can speak about the NHI and all of that and universal coverage, but in saying that, I think people will make a mistake to leave this country. What I do believe is that we should be holding hands, and we should be looking at a topic that we call value-based healthcare. So with universal coverage that's coming, there's another side pocket entry that we speak about value-based care, and in short, it's all about the patient. And that's why we became doctors in the first place. We should remember that. Is that what is the best value outcome that the patient can get for the lowest cost? Now, in any business, that never makes sense. Lowest cost, best value. But this business model has actually been really successful, undertaken by people in developing countries like India. They've successfully incorporated this, where America is now, by means of reversible innovation, they've actually incorporated into major clinics in America, where short term there's a sacrificial aspect of finances, but long term it's so productive, and you really start growing exponentially. So value-based healthcare is a topic that everybody should be reading about, possibly investing in, and this is now where we've got the opportunities to start holding hands with younger people or guys with medical aid practices, like, all of it. This is a great opportunity.
Yeah, and this is an area where, while you've done all your homework on that, now it comes to an implementation phase in the practice, and everybody needs to be on board. And this is where another topic that you're quite passionate about is the, let's say, corporate culture, or the culture within your practice.
Yeah, I invest a lot of time with my. I don't like calling people staff. They're not my staff. They're not my stuff. They're my people. We're a family. So my team, and I invest a lot of time and energy into speaking good things into their lives, changing the culture. I directly change the culture in this practice to what I believe it should be. So we sit down every week, if not every week, every second week, and we created a platter. We call it a flatter organization. Sorry, we call it a flatter organization where people have the opportunity to take responsibility, but also accountability. You can count on them to make things happen. I don't believe in bureaucracy, standing eye on a mountain and telling people what to do and why they do it. I believe in giving people responsibility. So culture is about human civilization, and it encompasses people with kind of the same beliefs, the same arts, the same skills, and all towards a single vision. So culture is definitely something that you should be reading up and down.
Yeah, and then, I mean, if this is a topic that you're passionate about, was the culture always good in the practice? Was there things that you had to implement or to suss out to say, listen, this is some changes that I need to make? If we can have like an anecdotal example.
I was the biggest obstacle. So what I perceived to be the biggest drive for this practice was actually the biggest obstacle. I believe I had to drive this my way. And fortunately, due to great mentorship in myself, being accountable to certain people, is I learned a great lesson that I was firstly the big obstacle. And we spoke about this last night. We should be leading by example. So I had to change the way that I see people and also the way that I see myself. And in short, the only way up is down. I had to become more humble. And if people know, people that know me sometimes do think that I'm arrogant. There's a difference between arrogance and confidence. I'm confident in what my assignment is. I'm confident in what I do and the people around me. But yes, I had to make the change. The change that I wanted, I had to show first. I actually wrote my own quote and I love it. I wrote that you don't need everybody reading the same, or being on the same page, but you at least need everybody reading the same book. They don't need to be on the same page. People don't think the same, and they don't act the same, and that's okay. That's actually a good thing. Thank goodness for people that think differently. True growth never happens in a place of comfort.
Yeah.
So thank goodness for people that stand against what everybody says is right. And there's a difference between opinionating and having an opinion. Having an opinion means that you don't think the same, but you think a different way can work. Being opinionated is a static term. You are immovable, nothing will change your mind, and nothing can shift the way that you walk. That is an issue in culture, especially if I can pick out a culture and I can say the white Afrikaans person today is very static. Why aren't we inclusive? Why aren't we bringing in different cultures? Why are we not speaking many languages? So we've got a lot of German patients, and my assistant and I joke a lot. I try and learn a bit German. I was on my way to Japan last year. I tried to learn a bit of Japanese. We had a big corporate getaway last year, and I actually spoke a bit of Zulu. So I really try and invest in people.
Yeah, I think people, when they have an opinion, they always think it's a case of being right or wrong.
Yeah.
And this guy is right and this guy is wrong. It's not a problem it's a matter of perspective.
Yeah.
This guy actually think he's right, and the guy on the left also think he's right.
Exactly. They actually truly believe they're right.
Yes, but it's just because of their perception that they feel they are right.
Yeah.
And if we can actually be more accommodating towards each other and say, listen, I respect your opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you feel that you are right, and sometimes it's necessary to try and get a middle ground, but it's not always necessary to get a middle ground.
Yeah. I think that's also why it's such an important topic to speak about is to learn self-investigation, being really reflective about yourself. I had to learn to write diaries, which was really difficult because it becomes really emotional. But I had to understand who I am to understand who I can be for others. And that's really deep. You have to understand who you are, and you have to understand that you have mistakes. People really think that I have to prove that I'm credible. I've got good credibility, but people don't understand what credibility is. Credibility is not telling someone about your past successes, but revealing your past failures and how you rectify them. It's not about your successes. It's about your learning curve. That is credibility. Understanding that, just look at the case that we did today. What an amazing case we can do, fully guided, fully digital, absolutely everything. But I would not have been able to do that without you. And fortunately, we've got a relationship, even though we've never spent a lot of time together, that you are accessible to me. I could ask you and you would come and you would help me. And I'm really thankful for that. And I believe that is the type of culture that we should be creating amongst each other. Not animosity, not jealousy, but helping. So.
Yeah, that's great. What do you think what's your vision for, talk a little bit about vision.
the only thing worse than being blind is not having vision. That was written by, I can't remember her name, Helen Keller. The only thing worse than being blind is not having vision. We all are given a certain measure. Whatever we do with that measure is up to us. It's no one else's responsibility. So we should take that measure and learn how to use those resources to make more resources. Not much like our government is currently doing. You know, they keep on asking for more resources. But if we had a good case study now, if we really have to dissect the resource that they are given today, we can have one of the strongest economies there is. We should not be a developing country anymore. We should be a developed country. So you have to understand what your measure is. Because with information, there should be meditation, and there can be revelation and eventually transformation. I love that.
Just repeat that.
With information, there can be meditation, and then there can be revelation, so that there can be transformation. So we have to understand, what do we have, what resources are in our hands, and then we can go. And that's why I place a lot of emphasis on vision and what Helen Keller said. And then these are my rules for the future. I believe that one should always have a vision. With vision, have great discipline. Never lose your hunger, and unless you progress, you will regress. Those are my 4 rules that I look at every day. And I believe every guy and every person and every girl should have a big whiteboard on their or in their walls at home or at work, because we should write the vision down so that those that read it may run with it. If you don't see it, you don't know why you are running. That's my rules for vision.
What habits do you have in your daily life to keep you on the right track?
So I'm really spiritual. I believe really in praying a lot, but I also believe in doing a lot. So I don't sleep much, and I make sure that every day I use as much of the day that I can. I try really, and we're back to work ethic. I try and exhaust the day of the hours that are available. But when I get home, it's about family. And that's my stronghold, is my family.
Yeah. And what do you like doing with your family?
Family. Well, we live in the garden route. This is Garden of Eden.
Yeah.
So we try and spend a lot of time outdoors. There's so much one can do here. Anybody that says there's nothing to do definitely is blind. So we try and spend a lot of time outside at this beach or just in the woods or wherever we can. So
that's lekker.
Yeah.
And then you have also a hobby of hunting?
Yes, that's actually a really dangerous topic. I spend a lot of money on hunting. I try and spend a lot of time hunting, and it's many people here play golf. I'm not that great a golf player, but I enjoy hunting, and I make sure I don't waste. Just for those that vegans out there, I don't waste.
And then what was your trophy, the last trophy that you...
Last trophy would be Gemspak. Yeah, I'm not sure, I can't remember how many inches, but that was a huge bastard. It was huge. So this year we are shooting golden wildebeest. So we got a couple of nice oaks lined up for us this year.
Lekker. Well, if the biltong gets too much, you know where you can send it. But thank you very much, Brian, for taking the time to having a chat with me. I think our listeners will really get a lot of value out of this conversation. If there's one thing that you can, a long-lasting message that you have for a young guy fresh out of university that doesn't want to get stuck in just doing the ordinary, but maybe doing the ordinary extraordinary.
Yeah, I will come back to the fundamental principle of looking for a mentor. Find someone that has not only done what you are dreaming of, but that has actually forgotten what you still want to do. Someone that has successfully put themselves out there, and go look for that someone. For each intern, there's a mentor. And one last thing that I'd like to say for a young person is wise men speak because they have something to say, but fools speak because they have to say something. It's a good place to be the one that listens in the room. If you are the cleverest person in the room, you're in the wrong room.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, if people want to connect with you, how can they do that?
Yeah, sure. So I'm always at work. I'm always in George. There's our website, dentistry.com. Just look for myself on that website. And my door is always open. I believe dentists should be walking into each other's rooms and giving a helping hand. So like you did today. I believe we should be open to teach one another and learn from one another. So thank you so much for this opportunity. I feel really privileged, and you caught me on the side here. I wasn't really prepared for this, but I think it's a privilege for me to be on this blog. And the best of the year for you further.
Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you.